Hi everyone, welcome back to Total War Therapy. Weeks ago I asked you to rank the best monster units in Total War Warhammer 3, and here we are with the final top 10. When you will watch this video I will be in my no technology spiritual retreat, so I wish you a great September and to make all your dreams come true. Say that these are 3 of the monsters that I'm waiting for in the next DLC, and let's hope to get even more. Hi, I'm Alberto, I'm a real person, and here you will find the beginner's guide, the battle unit roster, tier list, ranking, and many shorts, so if you wanna support the channel, please consider to subscribe. In the 10th position of the ranking you put the Incarnate Elemental of Beast. I remember the first time that I watched the trailer of Shadows of Change DLC and there was this huge monster roaring close to Mother of Stenkia and I could not believe. I remember that there were some rumors about it coming, but I didn't expect it, especially for Kislev, but it was such a nice surprise because it reminds me of the Leshy, the mythological figure of the northern folklore that is even in the Witcher games. So I was very happy about it. In the game is this incarnate elemental of the lore of magical beast, and I really hope to have all the monsters of every lore of magic in the game. He's quite weak about the armor. If you will suffer crossfire from the enemy army, you will feel it. The speed is not that big, the melee attack is great, but the melee defense is very low. It has magical damage, armor piercing damage, a little anti-infantry bonus, a lot of weapon strength. The charge bonus I didn't expect, but I mean it's quite big. It has a couple of abilities that debuff the enemies nearby, and a physical resistance, a spell resistance, and yeah, overall it's a very nice monster. I remember that at the release it was more a predator for large entities, but at the end they turn it into a anti-infantry huge beast. It's quite weak against missile attacks and other monsters, but yeah, it's quite resilient against a bunch of infantries around him, and it's very nice. Honestly, I really love the aesthetics, the model, and all the animation of these shadows of animals going out of his body. So yeah, thank you Creative Assembly for this. In the 9th position of the ranking you put the War Mammoth, that for me it's such an underrated unit, not about his power but about his aesthetics. I mean, it's crazy. I remember when I was playing the games of Lord of the Rings and there were the big elephants, and now I could finally play with the War Mammoth in Total War Warhammer 2, and I remember that I was so excited about it. I bought the DLC just for that. And yes, there are many different versions. I think there are 3 with 2 regiment of renowns, and 1 is basically a pack of many mammoths of different size. Overall, it's this big beast that it can be feral, he can be with mounted with these Norscan javelins that will throw the javelins around. The speed is not that high because I mean it's still a very heavy monster. The melee attack and melee defense are very low. This because it's more a tank than a damage dealer. I mean, it's supposed to hit with a huge splash attack all the infantries around, but yeah, I would not suggest for a duel with another monster. The weapon strength is of course armor piercing with the bonus versus infantry. The charge bonus is huge. The range attack, of course, I would not rely on that. It's just an extra bonus. And yeah, there is the feral version, there is the mounted version, there is the version with the war shrine that has an ability that increases the leadership and the physical resistance of the units nearby, and with the encourage ability, of course. And then yes, there is the pack of the regiment renounced. There are many different versions, and you will have a lot of fun with that. I'm very happy that that I will play Norsk again. In the 8th position you put the Rotting Leviathan. I didn't expect it, but I mean, it's your choice. This is a big monster from the Vampire Coast DLC that I would really like to get more content for this faction. I think that it is one of the most interesting civilization and with the most unique mechanics in the game, and I really hope that at some point they will get more love, but I doubt it. Anyway, it's basically this big undead crab that is immune to flanking, of course with the expert charge defense, because of course it's very scared of cavalry charging it, with a lot of armor. That's why it's a big huge tank, more than a damage dealer. The speed of course is very low. The melee attack actually is quite great, and even the melee defense is quite resilient to this huge beast. The weapon strength is high with the ammo piercing damage and bonus versus infantry. The charge bonus, it's not that great. I would not charge it with that, but just you know, I would stand still and attract bait all the enemies around, and then maybe cast a very powerful spell. The zombies at top are probably handgunners with a nice range and some missile strength, but yeah. Don't rely that much on that because yeah, they are still zombies and they are very few. Even if the handgunners of the Vampire Coast faction are quite nice. I already made some videos talking about them. It's aquatic, so but it will perform better into the water, and yeah, it's just very insane and crazy, and I really like the aesthetics. They made a video, I think back in Total War Warhammer 2, where they were describing how they created the model. In the 7th place you put the Hell Pit Abomination. That is definitely the most outrageous thing that I've ever seen in this game. I cannot even describe it, okay? There are so many things. There is a wheel, there is an engine, there are many different rats' heads going out, and then there are some, like the legs of a crab, of an insect, and some fist with the magical green warpstone bolts. So I really cannot describe it. In any case, it's this big monster of the Skaven roster with the regeneration that is one of the most powerful attributes in this game, and yeah, it has a lot of regeneration. Actually, he can summon a unit of Skaven slaves when it goes down, but we hope he will not. The armor is not that great, and the speed as well. Melee attack and especially melee defense are quite low. The weapon strength is very huge with the anti-large bonus, ammo piercing damage, and the charge bonus is not nice neither. Now, how you're supposed to use this monster? You have to chase down other monsters like you, or maybe cavalry, some mounted characters. It's very strong and it performs quite well against other large entities. Against infantry, it still does nice because of the regeneration. It can be quite resilient, but about the damage, it doesn't perform that well. So yeah, I really suggest to use it to chase down some monsters and so on. In the 6th position you put the Necrosphinx. That I remember back in Total War Warhammer 2, he was probably the best anti-large monster in the game. It's basically a construct, so it's immune to fear and terror, but when they suffer a decrease of leadership, they will cause damage to themselves, so be very careful about that. The armor is very high, so you will feel quite protected from missile, not ammo piercing attacks, and from a bunch of infantry surrounding you. The speed is quite nice for a monster of this entity, because you are supposed to hunt down other monsters, some cavalries, and the melee attack and melee defense are quite average. The weapon strength is very high, is more than 600 with the anti-large bonus, ammo piercing damage, and a little of charge bonus. So how to use this big monster? That it's very hard to recruit, because you need a special building in your settlement that you will need a long time over your campaign to get access to this monster. And yes, you will use it in your late campaign to hunt and to duel with other monsters of your own size, or even just to attack some cavalries. Of course, it's a big target, so be careful about armor-piercing missile units, artillery and so on, but it's quite fast, so it can be elusive. And please, if you have time, just have a close-up look at his model, because you will see all the details of his aesthetics, and believe me, it's crazy the work that Creative Assembly made about it. Of course, if you are enjoying the video, please consider to support my channel with a like, with a comment, or maybe subscribing. In the 5th position you put the Dragons and Terrorgeist, that I decided to put all in one single category, because at the end they are quite similar, even if the Terrorgeist have the regeneration and they have, they are more little in the size, but they all share the ability to fly, the breath attack and the missile resistance. Now let's talk about the Star Dragon just as an example. These dragons have a lot of armor. The speed is very high, of course, because they are flying. The melee attack and melee defense are high even for, you know, a monster, and the weapon strength is very huge, is armor piercing. The charge bonus is not that, it's quite average, but since you will attack and charge from a certain height, you will get a bonus more. They have this breath ability that each dragon, each Terrorgeist has a breath ability that is most suitable for a specific target, so you should check before using it. They are not that tanky, even if the big armor can trick you, so don't use them to, you know, attract and bait enemies to absorb the damage of the missile fire. You should still use them as a damage dealer, not as a tank, and yeah, to send them around the battlefield to hit the most precious unit for your enemy of your enemy. In the 4th position you put the Kadai Destroyer. I 100% disagree with this choice. I already said that in many other videos. I mean, I know all the excitement that I felt too when at the end of the trailer of the Chaos Dwarf DLC there was this huge mechanical beast roaring. It was wonderful, but when I look at this monster performing into the battle, I was never satisfied with that. It's very expensive. Of course, the model, it's crazy. It has all these fire mechanical attacks. It can throw some little ball of fires around, but yeah, I mean, okay, it has plenty of armor, the speed is average, the melee attack is great with flaming damage and magical damage, the melee defense is a little low, the weapon strength is huge with a lot of armor piercing damage, the charge bonus is average, it has many abilities like the physical resistance, the missile resistance, the fire resistance, it's a demon, so be careful when it will lose the leadership, because it will cause damage to himself. Then he's unbreakable when, I mean, till he hit points reach the 25%. It has other abilities overall. One that is I think worthy to mention is that it will reflect the damage when it will, with the time spent in increasing with the time spent in melee. But overall, I think that the performance is very bad. I saw him falling down when just surrounded by a couple of plug bearers, not even exalted, just the generic version, and yeah, for me it's very overrated. Even if it's very cool, I don't know, there is something about this monster that is not working for me. In the 3rd place of the podium you put the Jabber Slide, that I definitely didn't expect, not because it's not good, but because it's not a monster anymore that you know, the community talks about that much. But yeah, back in Total War Warhammer 2, when there was the trailer of the Silence and the Fury DLC, and it was Oxiato entering this cave, and you know, this half insect, half dragon, half bullfrog coming out with this tongue, these little wings, and all these legs of different size and ethnicity. I mean, it was such a crazy beast. I love it. I it's rumored that Creative Assembly spent a lot of money on making this model, and you can see that because it's definitely crazy. They probably used some of this animation to make the Toad Dragon. In any case, is this I mean, it's half a tank, half a damage dealer with a little armor, a good speed, definitely a good speed, a melee attack that is very low, I mean just 36, but at least it got the magical damage and the poison effect that reduces the stats of the enemies that they are hit. The melee defense that, I mean, at least is higher. The weapon strength, even here, for a monster is not that high, but it still has the bonus versus infantry and the ammo piercing damage. The charge bonus is very little, that for a beast that fast, I would have expected something a little more. It has a couple of abilities. One in particular is a vortex that it recharge when engaged in melee, and that hit the all the enemies nearby. Overall, it's very funny. Yeah, I admit that. In the second place of the podium, you put the Stegadon, that even here there are many different versions. There is the feral one that it may rampage when the health goes down. There is the Engine of Gods that is the most powerful version with some abilities that you should check. And then there is the Ancient Stegadon that we will take as an example, that is both melee and missile. Now, in very short, the Stegadon compared to the other dinosaurs are the one with more armor and but less weapon strength compared to the Carnosaur, the Troglodon and the Dreadsaurian. But compared to the Bastylodon, they get less armor but more weapon strength and charge bonus. So if you are looking for a dinosaur ready to to hit, to break the front line wall with its charge and with its power, this is probably the best and the most suitable dinosaur for you. You can of course play with all the different versions that they may they may play a little different, so you will have a lot of fun with them. But yeah, in general, they are tanky, so you can expect them to absorb a lot of damage, and at the same time, they are damage dealer. They will charge very hard the target. They have the bonus versus infantry, so I would suggest to focus more on all the infantries around and to avoid other monsters that can be dangerous to you. And then with all the mounts and the abilities, they can definitely buff and debuffs all the units nearby. And in the first place of the podium you put the Gorgon, that even this for me was quite unexpected, but at the end, yes, I mean, it's one of the most powerful monsters in this game. It was added with the Silence of the Fury along with the Jabber's Light, that, I mean, in this way is the best monster DLC of the Total War saga. And yeah, is this huge tall monster with the nice armor, not that big. It's quite fast for his entity. The melee attack is great, is 57 by default. The melee defense is a little low, but I mean, it has a lot of weapon strength. The anti-large bonus, armor piercing damage, it's better to use it to charge and to hunt down other monsters, other cavalries, some mounted characters, and then they have the regeneration, so they will replenish their hit points when they are engaged in melee, and they have an ability that will increase their armor piercing damage, their charge bonus, melee attack, and immune to psychology when they will I mean, with all the kills that they will make over the battle. So overall, quite nice. It's even a woodsman unit, so they will ignore the forest debuffs that they hit all the monsters, and this is quite nice, believe me, because in many maps, especially if you're playing with Beastmen, you can play in maps with a lot of forest, so it's nice to have this ability. And yes, overall, just hit monsters bigger than you and you will have a lot of fun. Very nice model, nice animations, and we can conclude the video. Thank you for following me, and see you very soon.